So following on from day 3, we are going to look at the 2 transitions that tend to follow knees, chest, chin and chaturanga. So for knees, chest, chin, we tend to push ourselves into Cobra, and when we move through chaturanga, we go into upward dog. So we're just going to break down those 2 poses so you can see what the differences are, but then also so you know what the alignment cues are for those poses as well. So we're going to start off with that Cobra pose, and we're going to start with our knees, chest, chin. So again, just make sure that your chest is between your hands are directly underneath the shoulders. Pull the belly button in so we've got that engagement of the core, and then you're nice and slowly going to start leaning forward as you lower yourselves down. Once you hit the ground, make sure that you take a moment here to set yourself up for Cobra. When we come into our flow, sometimes it's really tempting to just push straight into the next pose without really thinking about the alignment. But in order to save ourselves from any injuries or discomfort in these poses, it's a really good way just to take that split second to set yourself up. So you want to make sure that your heels are pointing directly up towards the sky, firm the tops of the feet down into the ground, and you want to try and hug the elbows towards the body. Now the only exception to that rule is if you're trying to pinch the shoulder blades and it really hurts across the front of the shoulders, then you can flare the elbows out a little bit. From here, keep that length in the body as you press your head away from your feet, come up into your Cobra. Remember, you don't have to lock your arms in Cobra. What we're trying to do here is build a little bit of strength in those arm muscles. So have a bend in the elbows, otherwise we're relying on our joint strength to hold us there. Press the tops of the feet into the ground, activate the legs, press the top of the head away from the body so we're getting that lengthening through. So I'm just going to show you that again without breaking so you can see what it looks like. So remember, in Cobra pose, try not to think about bending yourself backwards. It's really about pressing your head away from your feet. Back bends are all about trying to find as much length in the body as you possibly can. And one of the ways that you're going to help your back from taking any of that discomfort is to really activate those big muscles in our legs. So drive those feet down to the ground, pull the kneecaps up, get those quads fired up, and then your Cobra should feel a lot more stronger. So now we're going to look into chaturanga, moving into that upward facing dog. Now, I don't tend to teach this much in class just because it involves a lot of strength. Now, that's not because I don't think that people in my class have that or don't have that strength. The thing is, when we do a lot of vinyasa work, we have a lot of knees, chest, chin, chaturangas, and we use it as a way from moving from one flow to the other. So if the alignment's not 100%, or if you don't quite have the strength for them, then what can happen is if you're continually doing these poses and you're getting weaker, or well, you're fatiguing more because we're using a lot of our muscles for our flow, then our alignment can then falter, and then that can lead us into bad movement patterns and also injury. So that's why I don't really teach chaturanga in my classes, just because if you're moving really quickly without mindfully thinking about it, it can really load your lower back and cause quite a lot of discomfort for people. So we're going to start off in our high plank position. So again, hands directly underneath the shoulders. I want you to really spread the fingers. Now you want to make sure that your index fingers are pointing towards the top of the mat, and press your heels away from you. So you're already getting that length from the crown of the head to the soles of the feet. Remember, lean forward, bend the arms so that you're trying to get your elbows stacked above your wrists. Now, from here, you want to hover off the floor, push yourself through. Your hips, your legs are off the floor. It's just the tops of the feet that are pressing down into the ground. So you really have to firm those hands into the ground, shoulders away from the ears. And it's really tempting here to allow your belly to become soft. Now, when you allow your belly to become soft, your lower back takes that brunt of it. So still think about that core engagement of slightly pulling the belly button in and then creating as much length through that front body as you possibly can. Now I'm just going to do a little bit of a close-up of my feet so you can see that transition from plank into upward facing dog. So with your feet you have 2 options. The first one, when you start lowering yourself down, you flip one foot, place the top of the foot down, flip the other foot, and then press yourself up into that upward facing dog. The second option, which can feel a little bit uncomfortable, And it depends on how tight the soles of the feet are as we're having to roll over the toes. So as you start lowering yourself down, you flip onto your toes as you press up into your upward dog. So it's that rolling over the toes, which can feel really unnatural, but they're your two options. So just one final time for you, I'll show you what chaturanga to upward facing dog looks like. Nice and strong through the legs, open through the heart, and then you can practice that roll back as you push back into your downward facing dog. So I hope that's made it a little bit clearer of what those two transitions are. And just remember, like, there is no rush to get that chaturanga. The knees, chest, chin, that's working all exactly the same muscles, and it's a really good way of building up the strength in the arms, learning how to open through the chest and the shoulders. If you want to start putting chaturanga into your practice, maybe do 2 or 3 in the class, and then when the muscles or the body starts fatiguing a little bit, just drop back down to knees, chest, chin. That way you're still building up that muscle memory for chaturanga and upward facing dog, but you're not coming into misalignment which will cause you discomfort. But give the 2 a go, notice the difference of how they feel, and if you need any more feedback or any more tips, just let me know.